Hello, my dear. Rhonda Constant, your favorite hometown medium, physical energy healer, oracle card advisor, paranormal investigator. Sorry, maybe I'm so busy all the time that don't always get back to everybody, get back to their messages like I need to. So I'm sorry if you misunderstood. I'm always booked up for at least a week, sometimes 2 weeks. There for a while, it was a month to 6 weeks. So just never know. I'll never be a dial-a psychic because I'm I always had too big a list. So you were put on a list. So anyway, um, I like to explain to my first timers, I see, hear, feel, sense, know. They talk to me, but they also show me pictures, and I call it spiritual charades. And I try to describe the big picture to the best of my ability because they never waste a message. So if it doesn't make any sense now, you'll either remember it later, see it later, or somebody else will validate it for you later and they'll go, oh, I know what she's talking about. Yeah, I don't. And they don't tell us what we want to hear. They tell us what we need to hear. It's their show. I let them run the ball game, but it is not an exact science. So sometimes you got to stretch it out of the box a little bit because they don't give all the details. They just give enough so you know, because the details are none of my business. So I like to try to explain that a little bit. The whole thing will not be all about validate, validate, validate every single thing. It's going to be about her talking to you. I just try to get her to validate a couple of things so you know for sure it's her. And the rest of it will be her message to you. So, little speech is over. We're going to see what your mom has to say. Okay, she comes through and she's showing me this hill. Looks like it's out in the country. And up on top of this hill, looks like a wooden fence. Sometimes the details matter, sometimes they don't. Um, Looks like a wooden fence at the top of the hill, and there's this gorgeous dark horse standing up there, and it's literally prancing. So it looks, like a Tennessee walking horse or something. It is literally beautiful, and it's strutting its stuff. Why she's showing it, I'm not sure if she's going to tell me. Um, I don't know if you had a horse, she had a horse. Um, this could be a memory. She's not saying. She's starting out with this horse. So she'll try to validate herself at least a couple times. Okay, he's trotting off. Now she's standing there feeding this horse. She's on the other side of the fence. She's actually standing down there. He trotted down there, and she's holding out a carrot for him. There's always a reason for what they show. She looks beautiful. The wind's blowing her hair, both of them. And now she's saying that you are just as beautiful and just as elegant and just as gorgeous as this horse. Just as smooth. I mean, he had such a smooth trot. You're just as beautiful inside, and you don't believe it. She says, you have to be, you're my baby. She says, you need to think better of yourself. You're not seeing the sun shining out there. You're, and she's talking not the actual sun. She's showing herself playing with a little boy on the floor. He's sitting on the floor. I don't know. I have no idea what kids you have or how old they are. Don't creep anybody's Facebook page before I do a reading because it messes up my little mind. But she's showing a little boy on the floor. I'm going to say 4-ish, maybe. And he's got straight, kind of brown hair, but it's straight and it's a little bit long. So I'm not sure who we're describing here, who she's showing me. He's dressed in cute little clothes, almost like church clothes or Easter clothes or something. He's sitting on the floor and he's playing with some toys next to him, and she's squatted down and she's talking to him. And even if your kids are much older than that, she's showing one of your kids. And right now he's ignoring her. He's not interacting with her. It's like, I know you're there. And usually they'll show me, like, whether they accept all little kids see them and hear them. They do until they get a little bit older and they know people are going to make fun of them. People are going to tell them that's not real. So he's small enough in this. He's like, I know you're there, but I'm not going to play with you. So if your son, hang on, let's see what she's showing. Because she's sticking on this picture. He's seen her, he's interacted with her, he's looking down, playing with his toys over here, but he has a toy in this hand, and he holds it out to her, like offering it to her, but he's not looking at her. So it could be that he's old enough now. She's showing, oh gosh, I'm going to mess this up. He's old enough now that he's turned his head away from her, but he still knows she's there. He has interacted with her. So I don't know if he's ever mentioned anything, if you ever seen him talking to what seems like there's nobody there, which there was. Or pay attention now. Pay attention now to what he's saying and doing. Like when you think he's talking to nobody, think he's talking to the air. Because she tells him she loves him and he turns around and looks at her. So he knows. He knows that she's around. He hears her. And she takes him by the shoulders and she turns him around and she gently guides him towards the bed, like at bedtime she's telling him, you need to go to sleep, you need to go night-night. So she's definitely interacting with at least this one. And she tucks him in. She says she still tucks him in. She says you want to know that no, it did not hurt. She's switching. It did not, excuse me. He's beating on my door. So let's see. I hope I remember where I was. Yeah, she said it did not hurt. It was like done. She had a man with a cowboy hat, older man that was waiting for her. He's got some whiskers. He's definitely a farm type guy. So I don't know if this would be a dad or a grandfather. I can't tell. For some reason she's not saying which it is. He was waiting for her. He walked up to her and he held his hand out and he took her hand, and she was okay going with him. She says it was okay. Now she's holding up a birthday balloon, so somebody just had a birthday or is just getting ready to have a birthday, and she's acknowledging that. And she's showing she was there to blow out candles or is going to be there to blow out candles. She's being a little vague. She says sometimes you hear, I don't know if this will come across or not, like three taps, like on a wall. You hear tap, 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 tap. And you don't think anything of it. You just think it's the wind or a twig touching the house or something. She, and it's three. It's in threes. That's her trying to get your attention. So when she does that, acknowledge her, validate her, tell her you love her, ask her to bring you more signs. You can be driving down the road, you can be in the store, you can be outside, and you hear those tap. You hear a tap, tap, tap. It doesn't have to be in your house. Make sure you validate her. And then once you validate that you're getting the signs, and I'm sure she's going to give some more, then it kind of opens floodgates, and the signs will start coming to you that she's trying to show you that she's around. I will say 1,000% she can hear you, she can see you, talk to her. And okay, and okay. And she will answer with some type of a sign. It may not be the tapping, it could be her name on a bulletin board or bumper sticker, or a vehicle that like she drove could be driving by, or something. She's talking about you getting some kind of schooling. I don't know if you've gone back to school, if you're thinking about going back to school. She strongly approves and thinks she said it will better yourself. You don't think you can do it. Yes, you can. She said, yes, you can. It's like she's taking a school book and she's shoving it in front of you. So even if it's not literally going to a class, if it's learning something more at work, or it's learning something that's going to be really good for you, and she's shoving this learning book in front of you, like, do it, do it. She says, I am very proud of you. You have a big heart. You are a good person. She's very, very proud of what you're doing with your life. She says she's sorry that she left the way she did so suddenly at a time that you needed her desperately. But she can help you now if you ask. You have to ask, and this is for me. You have to ask, and then you have to allow for whatever they bring and put in front of you. It seriously works that way. She's kind of puffing her chest out and with pride. And she's going, I love you to the moon and back. And she actually makes a circle for the moon. I love you to the moon and back. And she shows herself with tears running, even though they're not really sad up there. But she shows herself with tears running because she's seen you struggle. And she wishes she could help you more. She cannot override your free will choice. None of them can. Nobody can override your free will choice, but they can sure help. And she wants to help. But you have to ask and you have to allow. She's making a big point of that. She's showing you with a glass of wine. Now, you may not drink wine, but it's a drink. Showing you with a glass of wine. And it's, so she comes up behind me, and all of a sudden I get just totally relaxed. And she takes her fingers and she just puts them in my hair. She's not rubbing or anything. She's just got all of her fingers on the back of my head. Oh, now she's pushing. She's pushing on my hands. Pushing on my hands. So you should feel like 5 spots, 4 spots, 3 spots, whatever. Like it feels like something's touching you, but it's probably going to be very slight. It might just feel like your hair moves in certain spots. It might be, but she's actually pushing on my scalp with her fingers. It can feel like heat. It can feel like, usually it feels like head lice when they get that close to me. It feels like, bugs crawling. It's just their energy. It could feel like pins and needles sticking you sometimes. Depends on how intense they make it. That's another sign from her. So, and I felt that overwhelming sense of peace when she did that, when she walked up behind me. She's very peaceful. She's moving around back there. So when you feel something like that, acknowledge her, validate her, and ask her to bring you more. So she's trying desperately. Now she's in my left ear. She moved around on this side. This is my left side. And she's whispering, I love you. I love you, baby girl. You should hear that. You may not be able to understand the words. It could be a higher pitched noise. It could be like an ear ringing, but only one at a time. You could hear muttering in your ear. She says you've dreamed about that. You dreamed about her coming to you and whispering, I love you. There's dreams and there's visitations. Visitations, dreams you forget. You start forgetting as soon as you wake up, and the dream starts to melt. A true visitation, I remember mine from 6 years ago. Remember every detail, every word, the color of everything. That's a true visitation. So I don't know that she's saying she's actually done the visitation because those seem to be kind of rare. I don't know why. She's being very soft, moving slowly, speaking slowly. And she's kind of started moving away, and as I asked her to come back, she came up like she wanted to lay her head on my shoulder. So that's something else you'll feel. This is my left shoulder, and she wanted to lay her head on my shoulder. You could feel that hair brushing against you. You could feel heat. You could feel just a little pressure, like a bubble pushing on you. She's definitely hanging right around you. Anything they show me during a reading is something they're doing to you. She's talking about a garden. I don't know if she had a big garden or you've had a garden. She says that do not worry about the things that happened right after she passed, that it's okay. It's just stuff. Don't worry about it. It's okay. Don't, she says, don't hold anger about it. It's just stuff. Okay, now she's showing me a big feather. She's been leaving you lots of signs that she's around. Show me a big feather. So most people know feathers, coins, redbirds, butterflies are the universal sign that everybody's catching on to. So she's also used feathers. So if you find a feather in a weird place, um, I walked through my dining room one day 10 times, and all of a sudden I sat down and looked, and there was a feather stuck in my slipper. No clue where it came from. So the ones that catch your eye, I save them. I collect them. Because Bob will leave them all over the place in weird places. She says you don't like your job. That it, say it again. It's not what makes your heart sing. It's not where, it's not exactly where you're supposed to be. It doesn't make you want to dance. Um, don't be afraid of the change. You need to find the one that makes your soul sing. She says, don't worry, everything will be provided for you. Don't be afraid of stepping out and doing whatever it is that your heart is desiring to do for a job. And a job doesn't have to be a 9-to-5 paycheck job. She says, she says, stop procrastinating. You need to step forward, find what makes your heart sing. And she's going to be right beside you, supporting you every step of the way. And they can open doors for you. I mean, once you take those baby steps, then it's like they put things in your path. They open doors. It truly, truly, it works that way. Okay. I don't know what this is. And it's not for me to know. Don't care. But she drew my eyes. I was looking in my kitchen. I thought, okay, what am I supposed to be looking at? And there's a couple of jars of Skippy peanut butter sitting there. I don't know if you're a peanut lover. She was a peanut butter lover, but she definitely wanted me to look at the peanut butter jar. She's trying to throw in little validations along the way. And she's showing you taking your finger and sticking it in the jar and just eating a big old glob of peanut butter. Now she's showing sitting on the couch eating popcorn, and she drops a piece of or you drop a piece of popcorn. I think it's you sitting on the couch. And she takes it and she shoves it under the couch way back. And there's a big old brown dog laying behind the couch. Even if your couch is up against the wall, it doesn't matter. There's a big old brown dog laying under there, got white around its muzzle. And she's trying to give this popcorn to this dog. So if this dog is still here, she's not saying if the dog is here or gone. If the dog is still here, watch the dog. The dog sees her. He's watching her. You know, if you see the dog look in the corner and he starts barking, which he probably won't bark at her anymore because he's probably used to her, because animals can see them. If the dog is not still here and it's a slick-haired, looks like an older dog. Anyway, if the dog is not still here, then she's saying she has it with her and she's taking care of it. She's kind of bringing her messages through different than most of them do. So kind of letting her go slow so she can do it her way. It's her show. All right, I'm not sure if she's talking about you, but she's showing me a bush, and she's showing me going around the bush, around the bush, around the bush, going in circles around the bush, around the bush, around the bush. So I don't know if she means you're beating around the bush. Like I said, some of this is charades, and sometimes they don't explain everything. going around the bush, and then you stop, you look around a little bit, and then you start going around the bush again. And then you stop, you look around like you're looking for something different, and then you go around the bush some more. So she wants you to step away from that bush, and you stop and look around and go for it. Move towards, move away from the bush, move towards something else that you're looking for. She says you just can't see it. You just can't see it because you're in a rut. You're in a rut. She said it's there. It's there. Whatever it is you're looking for, it's there. She's she's showing off in the horizon, and the path is going this way, and you've kind of gone that way. You've taken a fork in the road, which you'll still end up there eventually, as long as you keep it in your head and as long as you go towards that goal. You might just take a harder way to get there instead of the straight one, but it'll end up curving back around. She says she wants you happy because she loves you so deeply. Now she's jumping. Oh, she's got music. She's got music. I can't quite hear the music, hear the song. Well, I hear if you're happy and you know it, clap your hands. That's not what she's really jumping to, but that's one thing she said. It's like it's almost like heavy metal, not quite heavy metal, but it's rock and roll. She's she's jumping around too. I heard her say wharf music. I don't know how old you are, but I don't know if you're old enough to know what the wharf was. She's saying wharf music. I know what the wharf was. It was a lot of fun. Little bear drinking there, and she's bebopping to it. Now she says, we want to see you happy, me and Grandpa. Don't, and she's referring to the same guy with the cowboy hat. So I don't know if that's her grandpa or your grandpa. Take it a day at a time with a grain of salt. Know that I'm around. She's talking about rattling around in the kitchen. Now she's not, sometimes they'll show me like spoons or cabinets, or she's not showing anything. So it could be any noise in the kitchen that she goes in there and rattles or moves something, trying not to scare you, but trying to get your attention. You are a wonderful child. She's showing how she wishes you were little so she could grab you and wrap you up in her arms again and just squeeze the stuffings out of you. She says it will be okay. It'll be okay. Okay, she's going to leave. I hope there was a couple of things of validation in there. She didn't give a whole lot. I can't make them. They, like I said, I let them run the show. It's their deal. They know what they want to say. So she's blowing you kisses, and she says very big, I am around. Let me in because I love you. And don't take any crap off anybody because I didn't. Okay, she's leaving. Much love to you, my dear. think about what your mom said. She had a very soft, loving energy. She really feels good. See you later. Thank you for allowing me to be her voice. Rhonda Constant, your favorite hometown medium, physical energy healer, oracle card advisor, paranormal investigator. See you later.